So usually our nights after dinner, we play with the kids, and it's Boston, who's 8, and Christian, who was 4. And we usually have, I don't know, about an hour or so to do this. And it can be anything from playing Mario Brothers to dancing to their favorite music, or, reading books, or just playing games. But all of these involve pulling out lots of toys, and somehow we make a mess that always needs to be cleaned up. And so I see Christian now pulling out all of the Legos, or pulling out every single train piece, and the toy room ends up looking like an absolute disaster. And we as parents always encourage our kids to clean up before bed. It's just what we do, and probably for our own sanity, but that really isn't the point. The point is that 7:15 p.m. rolls around, and we say to the boys, it is time to clean up. And it may sound something like this: okay, Christian, pick up all those blocks, pick up all those train pieces and put them back in the bin. And he usually says to us, will you help me? So he says, will you help me please, Daddy? And so now at this point, I have two possibilities. I can say, no, you pick them up and you get it done in 2 minutes, or there will be trouble. He may pout, he may fuss, but generally this job is going to get done. Or I can say, sure, I will. Let's see how fast we can do it together. So he hurries and works much faster and more efficiently with my help, and we even have some fun doing what needs to be done. So it is Christian's experience that's very different in these two cases. In the first case, he's not free. He goes about his work as though a yoke of slavery were on his back. He is not acting in freedom, because the task it's an oppressive weight that irritates and it discourages. But in the second case, he is free. And he does work better with no irritation. He has this freedom of joy and feels no oppressive burden on his back. He still knows that Daddy punishes for disobedience, but that is no heavy yoke, because he's quite happy to pick up the blocks, to pick up those train pieces. But what's the difference? Daddy was on the floor helping, even making it somewhat enjoyable. The same work to do, but in one case under this yoke of slavery, and in the other case, freedom. So does this ring a bell? Are you reminded of anything as you are hearing this story? Yes, just as I came down to Christian's level to help him clean up, Jesus came down from heaven and he paved the way for us. He came down and did the work, making freedom possible. So I was in Galatians chapter 5 this morning, and I have been parked in the book of Galatians for five straight weeks. And it is this overarching theme that Paul is just beating us over the head with, that we are saved by grace and our faith in the works of Jesus, not our own. We walk in freedom because of what Jesus did, not because of what we do. And there is a clue here of how we can live in freedom and obey Galatians 5:1 when Paul encourages us not to get tied up in slavery, the slavery of our works and deeds, but to make sure that we stay free. And this key to freedom is whether we have to do the work ourselves to escape punishment, or whether the Father comes down to be with us and to help us. This is the point. And we have been so programmed to work our way up in life that nothing comes without hard work in this life. And in this case spiritually, to work our way out of bondage. And we have a hard time accepting what Jesus did as enough. Isn't that hard? And so what we do, we get saved by grace and faith in the atoning work of Jesus. And then we spend our entire lives trying to work our way into right standing with God. The nerve and the audacity of believers to think that I got saved by grace, but now that I am in this deep, dark place, I better work hard to get myself out. Friends, no, this is not the way. This is the opposite of the gospel. So the question is, are you bound? Are you held under the power of temptation and sin? Do you feel like temptation and sin is controlling you? What are you going to do? Do you think that you're just going to shake yourself free, that you're going to work your way out of it? No, you won't. You never will. You are no match. You never will be a match for temptation and sin. You don't have the ability to free yourself, to fix yourself, to work your way into right standing with God. There is only one way, and it's Jesus. He is the one that took your place. He is the one who stood in and took that punishment that you deserve, that I deserve. And because of his work, we now have the ability to walk free, to walk in freedom. No more bondage. We must grasp this. We have to stop trying to work to earn God's favor. We can act like it's noble of us to work hard for the Lord, but if we want to call it what it is, it's sinful. I mean, when we do this, we just cheapen the work of the cross, and that in itself is just not okay. But when we fully accept what God has done for us, we can walk freely in this life. When we fully grasp what Jesus did and put our faith in him, no matter what we do, it will be done in faith, which will be expressed in love. Yes, our love for Jesus will lead us to put our love into action, which will change the world around us. That same actionable faith that James talks about in his epistle.